count it up, count it up, count it up, count it, count it up, count it up, count it up, count it, count it up, count it up, count it up, count it.
What's up, guys? It's Nathan Abraham, aka Bucky. Welcome to the Buckshow here. And today we got a guest. We got Marcel Lundgren, and he's going to be talking about his fitness journey and how he got here. Thank you for being on the show, buddy.
Of course, Buck.
So I wanted to start off with the first question. So obviously, you know, you've been on a fitness journey, and you lost a lot of weight. So if you could tell us how much weight you lost and how long it took you to lose that weight,
Okay,
that would be great.
So journey started in grade 9, I'd say. I was about, first time I weighed myself when I was in grade 9, I was 267 when I stepped on there.
Yeah.
And so I think it was like 14 or 15. And so I started going to the Y, and that's how it all started. I didn't really watch what I ate that much. I just started working out. In grade 11, I dropped down for the first time below 200. So that's pretty much it. Just started because I had a few buddies going to the Y and stuff, working out. And I didn't even really consider it. It was more of a hobby, more than, you know what I mean? Like, I wasn't really trying to get in shape. I didn't really eat. I kind of ate like shit still and all that. So, but as I progressed, as I kept losing weight, I liked the results, right? So, and even to this day, I'm not completely there. You know what I mean? I'm still trying, still working on becoming a better version of myself, right? Like, really building the body I want. So. But yeah, I'm right below 200, so I've lost about 70, 75 pounds, 70 pounds roughly. I gained some muscle, so that's about it.
So how much weight before your fitness journey? How much did you weigh before you started this?
Yeah, like I said, I weighed myself at the Y. I was like 270. So yeah, so that's 70 pounds lost, just about.
So if you could describe to me what that journey was it an emotional journey? Was it a like in a motivational journey? What were the emotions through that journey?
Okay. At the beginning, it always changes, right? Because motivation doesn't last. So, let me see. It started off as it was like a hobby at first, you know what I mean? It wasn't anything I took too seriously. But like I said, as my body started changing, I started liking it. It became motivational. I was getting compliments, right? Something I never heard before. And I got the haircut, and it all changed around.
Yeah.
Everyone remembers that.
Yeah.
So then it turned into like, okay, like I gotta stay in shape now, right? And plus my family has a bad history of being out of shape, there's no problem there, but I really started to like, it's admirable to have a nice body, you know what I mean? So that's what really drove me. I started getting the compliments. I started, loving them, and I started loving the way that I look, so I just kept pushing. Eventually my entire style changed, my entire life changed, and now I live a way more healthy life.
Right.
Different food from my parents, I kind of buy my own groceries, all that stuff, just because I like being fit, right? I don't like being unhealthy. It doesn't feel good to me, so it's a huge part of my life, right?
Yeah. Are you ever do you look back when you were 270, do you ever look back and be like, oh, okay, like this is crazy, like is it still like real to you that you've gone this far and you are what you are today? Like, do you ever just take a moment to, just embrace what you've done? How far you came,
Honestly, it is a mental battle, because there's a lot of, especially nobody really talks about the social media side of it. When you see a perfect body on the internet, or someone who's got the shredded abs and all the ladies and all that, and you don't think that, I've came so far already, you think I'm not there yet, you know what I mean? So although I've lost 70 pounds, which is a huge deal, I tend to forget about that, and I focus more on where I want to be, which isn't a good habit, you know what I mean? Not a good habit, so. Yeah, no, I need to focus more on where I've came, for sure, because it's a huge deal to lose that amount of weight. But every day, there's been days, in grade 11 and 12 where it was more of a struggle for me, because I needed to get to this place, you know what I mean? I needed to get to the body I always wanted. You know what I mean? I've came so far, I need more. Yeah. But when you're constantly looking for a goal, you're trying to reach a goal, you're not living in the present moment, you're not accepting where you came, you know what I mean? Yeah. You're just chasing and chasing, you'll never stop chasing. It's how rich people, they always need something more, so they're buying new cars, new houses, but there's never enough, you just gotta accept where you are and move forward. It's good to set goals, but you know what I mean? You don't wanna always be chasing something better when you've already came so far. So.
What was the idea, like, when you started? Obviously, you look at, like, when you look at fitness, when you look at eating healthy and you look at working out, it says, you know, most of the people from a lot of resources that I've heard, it's 80% eating and 20% working out.
Yeah.
How hard was the eating process and trying to consistently eat healthy? How hard was that for you?
That is a good question because I can relate to that. So I'd say, yeah, it's definitely more about nutrition than working out. You can lose weight whether you work out or not, as long as your eating's in check, right?
Yeah.
That's number one. But yeah, I did struggle with eating a lot because, like I said, like in my grade 11 and 12 year, this was some of the worst, not 12 so much, but grade 11 was one of the worst years of my life for really bad eating habits. Like, this is the worst way to do it, and this is how I had it set up. I'd go Monday to Friday, 2 times a day at the gym. So morning I do cardio.
Yeah.
Then I would do weight training in the evening.
Yeah.
So that was 5 times. And then on the 6th day, so Saturday, I'd do cardio too.
Yeah.
And then after that, I would eat, like, not even kidding you, 1,000 calories a day all week.
Yeah.
Just so that I could, like I said, Saturday is my cheat day.
Yeah.
This is a terrible way to set it up. So, and it's all part of the learning process, right? But Saturday and Sunday, I would just binge and splurge and eat everything I possibly could, right? Like, which sounds funny. Like, I was literally, like, throwing up on the end of Sunday. Like, it's a real thing. So I developed, like, a binge eating disorder from doing that. And I constantly went from restricting, because, you know, it's like a big pedestal. You're either eating way too much or way too little. You know, you got to meet somewhere in the middle, right? It's like it's a balance. So, yeah, no, but with nutrition, it's definitely all about nutrition, but it's about mastering how to eat properly. Not always healthy, not always shitty. You have to find somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Because if you're always eating healthy, you know what I mean? You're over here always eating healthy, this is all the junk food. And you're going to balance from this end to this end. Or you can even meet somewhere in the middle, you know what I mean? So,
right.
Yeah, it's all about, definitely more about nutrition than anything else. And it takes a while to learn how to eat properly, right?
Yeah.
It's not overnight. You don't go from overweight to knowing how to eat properly and when to eat bad foods, when to eat good foods.
Yeah.
So if you're always eating good foods, you have one bite of that donut, all of a sudden you just ate 10 donuts.
Yeah.
And like that's happened to me, I don't even know how many times. It's a real problem.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely about balance, but definitely about nutrition. Yeah, it's about finding the right balance.
And I feel like that's a lot of problem these days, is like binging and you know, a lot of people just going out of control and eating a lot of foods. And I feel like that's a problem. I feel like it's a problem for weight gaining as well too, because a lot of people, when they eat healthy, they miss their old foods.
Yeah.
So they just go back.
And when you're restricting, then you want that food more, right?
Yeah.
Like if you tell yourself, I can't eat that donut, like what are you gonna be thinking about the whole time?
Donut.
Oh, how much would I want that donut? So it's important to find the balance.
Yeah.
For sure.
Out of all three, you know, macronutrients, there's carbohydrates, there's fats, and there's sugars.
Protein.
Sorry. Carbohydrates, proteins, fats, and sugars. Which one, if you were trying to lose weight, would you have to lower down on? Because obviously you can't cut all of them. It's really tough to do. But which one would you want to cut or like lower down on?
Okay, so there's three macronutrients are proteins, carbs, and fats.
Okay.
So sugar's actually a carb. It's a simple carb, but anyways, there's lots of different diets. People try ketogenic diet, which is like 0 carb diet. You lose a lot of water weight like that, and is definitely good for fat loss in the beginning. Can get someone really overweight motivated.
Yeah.
There's probably low protein diets, but you know usually you like to keep the protein high.
Yeah.
And low fat diets, like it's all just a fad. You know what I mean? Like it's mostly about just finding a balance. You know, tracking your food when it's necessary, making sure you're getting enough protein in to retain muscle.
Yeah.
But I don't agree with cutting out macronutrients, because if you cut out carbs, what are you gonna like? Cutting out carbs cuts out everything. You can't eat sugar, you can't eat bread or pasta or drink beer. Like you gotta live a life, right?
Yeah.
So for me, not optimal at all. But yeah. So yeah, I've been to the point where I've been tracking my food for every gram, weighing everything. You know what I mean? Just going really hard, but I've always seemed to fail that way because it's just too much. What happens if you want to go out for a night and eat at a restaurant? What happens if your friends say, we're going to this place, let's go to the mall, and you're worried about what to eat? You know what I mean? Like, it should not be like that. You should just develop a good relationship with food. Yeah. And, you know, you might get caught in a situation where you might not be able to stick to a keto diet. Yeah. Or you might not be able to eat 0 carbs. So what are you going to do then? You're going to probably binge eat, you know what I mean? Just because you don't know what to do, or you get wound up, you start getting really anxious, you start eating. Yeah. But, so yeah, I think it's most important thing is about balance. Balance, yeah. And yeah, protein for muscle for sure, for retaining muscle, but yeah, mostly about calories and more about balance and worrying too much about macros, because the stricter you get, the worse it's going to be in the long run, because it's unsustainable. You know what I mean?
I totally agree. When you look at, there's always, like you talked about the ketogenic diet, and then, there's all sorts of diets that people are trying to try. There's supplements that people are trying to use, because people don't want to go the hard way, they want to go the easy way. And obviously, with your story, it wasn't easy, it was really hard.
Learning every day still.
Yeah, and what would your thoughts be on these fat burning supplements and this intermittent fasting that people are trying? Do you think that intermittent fasting is legit when you are trying to lose weight? Is that a legit lifestyle to pursue?
Okay, so if we're about, I want to start with like the fat burners and stuff.
Yeah.
Complete bullshit. Like I lost 70 pounds in 2 years without using a single supplement, including protein powder. I've never owned a pre-workout. I only started using protein powder this year. Like, I've never done any of that shit. And the sad truth is a lot of people fall into it. It's just a marketing scheme. You don't need that shit, right?
Yeah.
But as far for intermittent fasting, it's more of an approach to fat loss. I do intermittent fasting myself, so I'll push my first meal to about 5 hours in the day, and then I'll only eat 2 meals a day, and then my second meal is a huge meal, right?
Yeah.
So it makes fat loss a lot easier when you can eat big meals compared to 6 small meals a day or some of that shit, right? So I do like intermittent fasting. You should definitely give it a try. But like, as far as supplements, you don't need them. Unless you're very far into your journey and maybe you really need some pre-workout or like caffeine or something to push a workout when you're sub 10% body fat or something insane. But for the average Joe, supplements are a waste of money. Including me, they'd be a waste of money for me.
Because, you want to be all natural, you want to use your own energy, you don't want to rely on...
you don't need it. It's a waste. Spend that money on whole food. Nothing is better for whole food. That is the most important thing for sure.
So, obviously, starting at a heavyweight of 270, if you were to start your fitness journey again, because we always say, what if we started all over again? What type of body type would you have? Would you want to be a skinny guy? Would you want to be sort of bulky? Or would you want to be really fat? With me, I would want to be the really fat guy, just because the potential that he has. You know what I mean? I always say this, when you're heavier, you have more potential, right? Because, like, a lot of people when they're skinny, they've seen them at their best, right? Like, you gain muscle and you look good, right? But you're already at your best, right? When you're fat, you don't know what you can look like at your full potential. I, in my personal opinion, think that I would start at a heavyweight. I think I would start my fitness journey as a fat person, but what would your thoughts be on that?
Honestly, that's a good question. I would definitely agree with you for a few different reasons. Number one, as a skinny guy, trying to gain muscle, like that's what you're comparing it to, right?
Yeah.
It's, as weird as this sounds, it's harder to eat more food than it is to eat less, right?
Yeah.
So depending on how fast your metabolism is, like being in a calorie deficit, it is challenging, but trying to eat, because there's no range, right? Like if you were really overweight, you could almost tell, like if there was a 300-pound dude and a 400-pound dude, they could eat the same amount of calories every day to get a lot skinnier, let's say 2,500 calories. But if you have a really skinny guy, you don't know how fast his metabolism is, it could take up to 6,000 a day just to start building muscle.
Yeah.
Right? So that's actually super challenging. And another thing is, it's a lot easier to get motivated, in my opinion. I'm not sure because I've never been like super skinny, obviously, but it's a lot harder to get motivated to get in shape when you're skinny compared to when you're really fat.
That's a good answer.
Yeah, like
that's a good answer.
When you're really fat, it's easier to get motivated to lose weight. And when you're really skinny, it's like, whatever. Like, most skinny people, they're lazier. They kind of just eat whatever they want. In my opinion, like, when it comes to fitness, there's not too many really skinny dudes that are into it as much as guys that were heavier that lost the weight. You know what I mean? Like, I would know for a fact if I would have grew up with, like, the perfect body, like, why I wouldn't even be working out. But you develop a work ethic from working out, right? So, like, my fitness goals and, like, my fitness journey has, like, transformed my whole life, right? Like, now my work ethic is skyrocketed. You know what I mean? And I don't know if it would have, like, for example, in grade 9, I was like 265, 270, and my grades were, I was in applied classes, my average was a 62 in grade 9. And grade 12, I was around 200 still, and yeah, my grades, I got on university, I had about an 85 average in all university courses, and that's not just because I got smarter, you know what I mean?
It's because you developed the work ethic, yeah.
That's exactly what it is, so. Yeah, kind of a long answer, but I definitely think it's more motivating to try to lose weight than to gain weight.
Yeah, because when you gain weight, you're, like you said, you're not as motivated when you're like when you're heavier, okay, people are calling you these things,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So you have a reason to go and lose that weight. While when you're skinny, it's like, why do I need to go do exercise when I'm already skinny, right?
Like most really skinny dudes don't work out, which is no knock on them, but for a good reason. Like, what's their motivation?
Yeah.
And if they ever decide to give up, it's fine because they're just gonna stay skinny, right? Which isn't the end of the world. But like, if a fat dude tries to give up his workout exercise, he knows he's gonna gain weight back, right?
Yeah.
So it's more motivating. I gotta keep going. I don't want to gain this weight back. I gotta keep going.
Yeah.
Get to my goals, all that stuff. You know what I mean? It's nicer and more motivating to see the scale losing weight than gaining it.
That's perfect,
in my opinion, because I've never been like scrawny.
I wanted to ask you this question. So, you know, losing the weight was obviously an incredible accomplishment, but outside from you, you know, there's a lot of people who've noticed it as well. Obviously, you know, you like you said in the beginning, you said you got a little bit, you know, you got the haircut, you got all that stuff.
Yeah.
New man, new cell. Were there a lot of people that like expected this, or not expected, but like disagreed with the lifestyle that you had, like the new lifestyle that you have, like the new change and all that stuff?
Compared to my old self?
Compared to your old self?
Actually, it's kind of funny you said that.
And the one thing, what do you say to the people who be like, oh, you've changed, you know, you're not the...
Well, yeah, I don't really know what to say because obviously as yourself, you don't really notice. Like, I noticed change in my confidence and stuff like that, but I don't think I become a D-bag, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, like, my parents, my mom in particular, definitely has told me a lot that I've changed and, like, kind of in a negative way at some points.
Yeah.
So, like, taking that in is kind of like, I've always take a step back and be like, ooh, like, what's going on here? But I don't really know. Yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah, I was definitely different when I was bigger. I was probably more shy, you know, wasn't as confident, all that stuff. So when somebody goes from that, this shy fat kid in grade 9 who sucks at school and nobody really likes, to grade 12 where, you know, you're dressing nicer, you're more confident, you look way better, you got a nice haircut, yada, 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 yada. People are going to notice changes. And I think people interpret that as, wow, good for him, or wow, that guy's such a douchebag now. And I've had both. Like, it really all depends because, like, your social circle grows, your social life grows, you know, everything grows when, you know, you're more confident and all that stuff, I believe. It definitely did for me. So people are either going to interpret that as inspiring or as, like, this guy became a douchebag, where's the old him kind of thing. I've gotten both for sure.
Yeah. Well, obviously, like, when you get bigger, obviously, like when you lose weight, your ego, like, oh, it's just a thing, right? People, it's ego, right? Confidence at the same time. So your confidence grows. But yeah, it's good. That was a good answer. And yeah, we understand, like, you can look at it either as inspirational or you can look at it as the guy who's cocky and the guy who's a douchebag and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But there's one more question I wanted to ask you before we go.
Yeah.
What would your advice be to someone who was maybe 275 pounds and is starting their journey to, you know, starting their fitness journey? Someone who is your weight, what would the advice be to give to them?
Okay, yeah. So what I've learned so far is to let your ego go. So stop thinking that you know everything, you know, take advice when you need it, because the more you learn about fitness, the more you think you know, but really you're always just getting, like, you're just on the tip of the iceberg, you know what I mean? There's so much deeper to go in depth, and there's been multiple times where I've rejected advice because I thought I knew everything, you know what I mean? Which clearly I don't, but it's just you get this ego when you start losing weight, that you think that you know everything and that nobody else can help you, you know, like, I'm doing my own thing, whatever, like, don't talk to me kind of thing. And I've been there too, but for advice for starting a fitness goal is, yeah, realize that you don't know everything and definitely just start. You just have to start. Don't put it till Monday, don't put it till Tuesday, because when you adopt the fitness lifestyle, your whole life, like, it doesn't just change. Like, you don't just lose a ton of weight, you don't lose 50, 100 pounds and then that's it, you know, you just lost the weight. Your whole life changes. Your social circle changes, your social skills changes, your finances might change, your appearance changes, your clothes changes, your habits change. Anything can change, your work ethic especially. So yeah, it's super important, and I think more people need to be informed about it and how to do it properly. So I'm always...
So you're basically just saying, you know, it's not just a goal, it's a lifestyle.
Oh, 100%. And that was my problem at first, right? Because I used to always have, like, I need to get to this point, I need to get to this point, I need to reach my goal, you know, which was whatever it was at the time, I'm not even sure. But what you need to realize is that you just need to adopt the lifestyle, and then the rest falls in place, right? So if you're constantly trying, like, hard to change your body, but you're not changing your mind, nothing's going to happen.
Yeah.
But if you just adopt, like, a fitness and nutritional lifestyle that's based around, like, whole grain foods most of the time, healthy foods, restricting yourself a bit, working out consistently, then you'll eventually just get to your goals without even trying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to focus on the mindset more than I need to get there by doing whatever it takes. Because that usually always results in failure, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was all the questions for the Buck Show. That was our podcast. I hope everyone watched it. There's more things to come, more interviews, more intense conversations.
We love Bucky.
So yeah, make sure to give a like and a subscribe, and thank you for being on the show, bro.
Of course,
I appreciate it. Have a good one, guys.
That was pretty fire.
Man, that was a good fucking conversation.
That was actually...